So this is part 2 of finishing my Fall Geode for the Bling It Contest with color art. And I started to use the Fool's Gold, or the chunky Fool's Gold, here in the center that I showed you in the previous video, but it just didn't show up very well, and I think it's because of the background of the Deco Art Extreme Sheen 24 karat gold. So I changed my plan, and I am going to put right here in the center some rose gold leaf, and I'm using the Diamond Glaze once again, and I have put it here in the center, and I'm using my brush to just kind of spread it around. You can get this in packages of little sheets of this. I got mine at Hobby Lobby. I think they carry it at Michael's. You can probably get it at a lot of craft stores. But this has the colors that I'm using with the kind of orangey looking gold, and it even has a hint of green to it. So I think it's going to go really well here in the center. And just take little pieces of it and stick it in there. I do want to give you a tip on this. This stuff sticks to everything. I had some on my glove, touched my mouse right there, and I still have gold leafing on my mouse right now. So be sure to wear gloves, because it will stick to your fingers and just makes a mess as far as sticking to something you don't want it to stick to. So I'm going to finish up this center real quick, and then we're going to move on to mixing the resin colors. But just another little tip, you can use bigger pieces of it, and if you touch it with your whatever tool you're using, right here I'm using my paintbrush, you can generally move it around and get it to where you want it, but once again it will stick to that too. So there's a lot of places that I came back with the Diamond Glaze and just put a little drop here and there to make sure that it was laying flat. I wanted a textured look, but I didn't want it to be above my layer of resin. So just a few little touch-ups. And then we'll be ready to move to the next step. Just checking it to make sure that everything is below that border that I have placed around each ring of my color. This is where I was using the Diamond Glaze to lay it back down into the glaze so that it would dry flat. See, right there is where I got the gold leaf on my mouse. Okay, so now we have Stone Coat Countertop Art Coat, and I am going to start mixing these gorgeous Luster Pigments and the Diamond, Galaxy Diamond. Also, this one right here is the Myrtle Green, and I have slowed the video down to regular speed for this because when I mixed this Myrtle Green into my resin, it is a gorgeous, gorgeous deep green. But I needed a little bit more of a tone down, so I did add some salted caramel to this. And if you recall, when I did the mica chips, that I had used the salted caramel in some 91% alcohol, and it had just a hint of a brown to it, so it was more of an olive green. So I thought it would be perfect to tone down the deep green that the Myrtle green produces when you mix it with your resin. And this right here is going to be the Golden Autumn. And this is Lusciousness in a jar. I know this is a little bit time consuming. If you want to speed through this part of it, feel free. But I think it's important that you see how these are mixed and how easily they mix into your resin. You don't have to worry about clumping. You don't have to worry about little bits of pigment that don't mix in well with your resin. These all mix so easily, and it's just like it just melts right into your resin. This one right here is going to be the Tiger's Eye. I had to stop and think what I used in the outer edge. And you don't have to use a whole lot of this. These are little 3-ounce cups that I have here. And I'm just using a small popsicle stick or craft stick and just taking a little bit and putting it in the cup. So it doesn't take a lot to color your resin. And I promise I'm going to speed the video up in just a second, but I do want you to see how this Myrtle green looks and then how I deepened the color by adding the salted caramel to it. Look at that. Is it not just luscious? And it has such a shimmery sparkle glitter almost to it, but it's so fine that it doesn't look like glitter. It's just wonderful. So here's where I decided that while I love this green and this is going to definitely go in some other projects, I really want to have it deepened just a little bit. So I'm going to add the salted caramel, and I'm not going to add a whole lot. I'm going to start with a little bit. And again, just using a clean craft stick. And it's just the tip that I'm putting it on. So I started off with one little scoop there, and I'm going to work it in first to see if it deepens the color enough. And I can see it in there. I can see it mixing in, and I can see just a hint of the warm brown look. But I think it needs just a tad more. So just one more scoop. Stir it in. And I think it's looking great. I know that it's kind of hard to see maybe on the camera here, but this is going to be perfect. I love it. Alright, so let's get this put away. And now we'll start mixing the other colors, and I've sped the video back up here so that you don't have to sit around a long time. But all these colors are just wonderful. And you can see here I was showing you the difference in color of the tiger's eye and the gold autumn. Now I'm ready to pour, starting with the green and then the golden autumn. And I'm going to heat these two up first because I want to be careful when I do the outer rung or outer ring with the tiger's eye. I want to make sure that it stays on the board and doesn't drip off the edges. And I'm noticing as I'm spreading the resin out to the edges of the border that it is giving me this absolutely gorgeous swirl effect, and you can see different colors in there. It's like you see a little bit of red, you see a little bit of a golden orange, and same thing with the green. And when I give you a close-up at the end of the video, you're going to see what I mean. But once I realized that it was making that design pattern into the resin itself, I started making sure that I was swirling my craft stick so that I could get a design. And it is just absolutely gorgeous. Okay, a little more here, touching up, making sure that I got resin all the way on both sides of the border. And now I'm going to start with the tiger's eye on the outer ring. And it is doing the same thing. It's giving me a swirl design by just moving my craft stick around in the resin. And it's adding its own little element that I was not expecting. And I'm just carefully taking it out to the edge of the board. Again, I don't want it to go over the edge. Just want it to from the edge of the border to the edge of the board. Oh my goodness, I am loving this. And you see, the more that I move my stick, you can actually see it happening as I did it. So now I'm just going to use my torch, make sure there's no bubbles, and making sure that it's out to the edges. A little more touch up. And I did come back several times and check to make sure that I didn't have any bubbles coming up. And here is the finished design. I am so pleased with it. This is with a flash on, so you can get that look of how it shimmers and shines in different lights. And close-ups of each thing, the mica chips, and the swirl design in the resin. So I hope y'all have enjoyed this. I so enjoyed creating it, and I'm really excited that it's done. So if you have enjoyed it, please click like and share. Subscribe to my channel. Any comments or questions, leave them below. And I hope to see you in my next creative escapade. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.